My dear students, parents, teachers, and principals of all our council affiliated schools across India and abroad, welcome to this CISCE virtual learning series. It is the council's humble gesture and initiative to reach out to our students through our exclusive YouTube channel using StreamYard. We are in the 6th month of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the crisis does not seem to relent anytime soon. Given that all schools are closed, the council has decided to proactively involve its students in some teaching learning activity through this initiative. While many schools have been doing excellent work in conducting online classes for its students, yet there are some schools which have not been able to do the same for their students. The council is concerned about these students, especially those at the ICSE and ISE level. Therefore, the council has arranged for subject experts for all the major subjects at the ICSE and ISE levels to address students' concerns and to suitably guide them in these subjects. These lessons can be viewed exclusively on the CISCE YouTube channel. I request all our students to be attentive and participate actively in these interactive live lessons. I am confident that our subject experts will be able to assist and motivate each one of you. Lastly, I would like to place on record my most sincere gratitude to Mr. Francis Joseph for coordinating with our research division and examination sections to make this possible. We plan to continue this series for as long as we can so that the council can reach out to our teaching community in general and to our students in particular. Thank you and happy learning.
Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the CISCE Virtual Learning Series. I'm going to start today's session with a quote which goes like this: "Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime." My goal for the accounts sessions today, as well as tomorrow, is to teach you how to fish. That is, to make you understand the concepts involved in the redemption of debentures so that you can apply them confidently when you're solving problems on this topic. If you also truly want to learn how to fish, children, I highly encourage each one of you to have with you a notebook and a pen, because as we go along today, I will periodically present you with some questions that will require you to think and to write down your answers on paper. I promise you, dear students, that if you take the effort to write down your thoughts, you will get much more from today's session than by just listening to me. So have you got your notebook and pen ready? If not, I'll give you 10 seconds and then we start. You're already aware that a company, in addition to raising its capital by issuing shares, may borrow money from the public by issuing debentures. What is a debenture? A debenture is a written acknowledgement of a debt taken by the company, or in simple words, debentures are loans which the company has taken. Now, this debt or this loan has to be repaid by the company at a specified date. The process of repayment of this debt or discharging the liability on debentures is known as redemption of debentures. The persons from whom a company borrows money by issuing debentures are called debenture holders. Over to redemption of debentures. We start with the methods of redemption of debentures. Let's all of us list the methods of redemption of debentures. Payment in lump sum at the end of a specified period is a method of redeeming debentures. So when I'm talking of debentures in this session, children, I am referring to non-convertible debentures. Payment in installments by draw of lots. And the third method is purchase of own debentures in the open market. Let's take up the first method, payment in lump sum at the end of a specified period. What does this mean? Or how do we get to know that a company is going to redeem these debentures in a lump sum at the end of a specified period? If the statement goes like this, on 1st April 2016, a company issued 4,008% debentures of 100 each to be redeemed at par on 31st March 2020. Now, if you notice, children, the entire 4 lakh worth of debentures are going to be redeemed in one go on 31st of March 2020. So the lump sum, the entire amount at the end of a specified period. In your syllabus, children, we only have one method, the one which I've put a tick against, which is payment in lump sum at the end of a specified period. So I'm not going to deal with the other two methods at all. We are going to concentrate only on the first method, which is payment in lump sum at the end of a specified period. I give you all a moment, children, to think as to what will be the entry when we redeem the debentures. When we issue debentures, you all know we will credit the liability. So now at the time of redemption, what are we going to do to the liability? The journal entry to be passed at the time of redemption of debentures. Children, we debit the liability, debenture account debit, to debenture holders. We don't pass a journal entry by straight away making a payment against the debentures. The first entry to be passed at the time of redemption is to show the amount due to the debenture holders, and then we pass the next journal entry, debenture holders account debit to bank. Never, children, combine the two entries. First entry to show the amount due to the debenture holders, and then the next entry to redeem the debentures. Who may issue debentures? Which are the companies which can issue debentures, children? All India financial institutions regulated by RBI, such as the Exim Bank, UTI. We've got banking companies. Other financial institutions within the meaning of Section 272 of the Companies Act, for example, LIC, IDFC, all listed companies. Unlisted non-banking finance companies and housing finance companies. Other unlisted companies, for example, manufacturing companies, construction companies. And just to make you aware, a private limited company is an unlisted company. Now, when I say all listed companies, they basically mean, children, non-banking finance companies, housing finance companies, manufacturing companies, construction companies. Why have I not split up the all listed companies into the two categories in which I have broken up the unlisted companies? Because the provisions of the Companies Act regarding listed companies, whether non-banking or manufacturing or construction, happens to be the same. Hence, I've put all listed companies in one category. So we've got 6 categories of companies in front of us. And we're going to deal with the redemption, the process to be followed by these companies when they redeem the debentures. A company needs finance to redeem the debentures. What are the various sources which are available to a company to redeem its debentures? It can redeem its debentures from its profits. A company can redeem debentures from its capital. And a company can redeem debentures with a combination of profits as well as capital. Let's take each source separately, understand each source and then see which company can adopt or can use which particular source of finance. Let's start with the first source, children, profits, redemption only out of profits. It means the company repays its debenture holders from its profits, which are available for distribution as dividend to the shareholders. What does this sentence mean, children? Supposing a company has made profits of 6 lakh rupees after all mandatory provisions and after providing for tax. Whatever profit is available after these provisions and after provision for tax is available for distribution as dividend to the shareholders. Now, the company has an option to transfer, before redemption begins, 100% of the total face value of the debentures to be redeemed from its profits to a new account called Debenture Redemption Reserve Account. Before I proceed, let's take an example. A company made a profit of 6 lakh rupees, which was available for distribution as dividend to the shareholders. That means after all its taxes, etc. This company has got no debentures to redeem. It's got no liability in the form of debentures, so it can easily distribute the entire profits provided it has the cash available with it as dividend to its shareholders. The second scenario, this company has got debentures to be redeemed and the total face value of debentures to be redeemed are, say, children, 4 lakh rupees. The company decides to redeem these debentures 100% out of profits. So what this company will do is, it will block 4 lakh rupees out of that 6 lakh profit and transfer it into an account called the Debenture Redemption Reserve Account. Now the free profits left out of 6 lakh, 4 lakh have been blocked, only 2 lakh profits are left. So in this situation, the company can distribute 2 lakh rupees to its shareholders as dividend. As per the provisions of the Companies Act, redemption of debentures out of profits is possible only in case of unlisted companies other than non-banking finance companies and housing finance companies. That means the last category which we're dealing with, unlisted companies other than non-banking, in other words, unlisted manufacturing company, unlisted construction company, or a private limited company, they can block 100% of the total face value of the debentures from their profits in order to redeem the debentures, bringing down the profits available for distribution as dividend to the shareholders. All right, you have your pen and paper ready. We quickly do a recap of this and let's see how much of it you remember. First, from where are debentures redeemed? Only out of profits. When it's only out of profits, children, just write down how much of the value of debentures is going to be blocked from the profits. Yes, you're right. 100% of the total face value of the debentures will be blocked from the profits. There it goes. What is the effect of this? The effect of blocking a large amount of profit and transferring into Debenture Redemption Reserve is profits available for distribution as dividend to the shareholders is reduced. Now quickly write down, children, which company can use its profits to redeem the debentures. Written down? You're right. Only in case of unlisted companies other than non-banking finance companies. Let's now go to the second source, children. Redemption of debentures only out of capital. Now what does this mean? Out of capital. When a company does not block its profit available for distribution as dividend to the shareholders and does not put it into a debenture redemption reserve, it means it's going to redeem them out of capital. Redemption out of capital means it can borrow money from a bank to repay its debentures. It can issue further debentures, get the money and repay these current debentures. It can also issue shares, get the money and redeem the debentures. So when profits are not set aside for redemption of debentures, the redemption is said to be out of capital. As per the provision of the Companies Act 2013, redemption purely out of capital is not possible in case of unlisted companies other than non-banking finance companies and housing finance companies, meaning children, an unlisted manufacturing company or an unlisted construction company will have to block a part of its profits in order to redeem the debentures. So redemption of debentures purely out of capital is possible in case of the remaining 5 categories which we had done in our earlier slide. All India financial institutions, banking companies, other financial institutions, all listed companies, and unlisted NBFCs and HFCs. They can redeem out of capital. They need not block their profits. So in other words, if any of these companies has made a profit of 6 lakh after providing for tax as well, and it has got 4 lakh worth of debentures to be redeemed, it can still distribute the entire 6 lakh rupees as dividend to its shareholders. It does not have to block any of its profits and transfer it into a debenture redemption reserve in order to redeem these 4 lakh worth of debentures. A quick recap, children. Let's see how much of it you remember. Out of capital, profits are not set aside for redemption of debentures. Which companies cannot follow this method? Purely out of capital is not possible in case of unlisted companies other than non-banking finance companies and housing finance companies. Which companies can do it, children? The remaining 5, all India financial institutions, banking companies, other financial institutions, all listed companies, and unlisted NBFCs and HFCs. Let's now come to the third source of finance, children, which is redemption out of profits and capital. Partially out of profits. When it's out of profits, it's compulsory for a company to transfer a part of profits and put it into the debenture redemption reserve account, and partially out of capital. The company will, in this case, not transfer out of profits 100% of the total face value, because now it also has an option, children, to redeem part of its debentures from the capital. So why should it block 100% of the total face value of the debentures and thereby bring down the profits available for distribution as dividend to the shareholders? The Companies Act has provided that 10% of the face value of the debentures need be transferred to the debenture redemption reserve account. If a company wants to transfer 100%, it can easily do so. But as per the provisions of the Companies Act, a minimum of 10% is required. The remaining, how much, children? 90%. The face value of 90% of the debentures can be redeemed out of capital, 10% out of the company's profits. For example, continuing with the same example, children, the company has to redeem 4 lakh worth of debentures. If it's going to redeem them partially out of profits and partially out of capital, only 10% of 4 lakh, that is 40,000, will be transferred to debenture redemption reserve, leaving the remaining 5,60,000 out of the profits to be distributed as dividend to the shareholders. Now, 40,000 out of 4 lakh are going to be redeemed out of profits. So the remaining is how much? 3,60,000, which is 90% of the total face value of the debentures. As per the provision of the Companies Act, redemption of debentures out of profits and capital is possible only in case of unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs, because it's only unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs which can redeem out of profit. So they've got the advantage of redeeming totally out of profits or partially out of profits and partially out of capital. Let's do a quick recap, children, of debentures out of profits and capital. Have you got your points ready here? Partially out of profits by creating debenture redemption reserve and partially out of capital. What does the Company Act says? Before redemption begins, 10% of the total face value of debentures to be redeemed is to be transferred to debenture redemption reserve. Children, write down which companies can do this. Yes, you're right. Only in case of unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs. Let's look at the provisions in totality. Before redemption begins, all unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs will transfer from their profits 10% of the total face value of debentures to be redeemed to a new account called Debenture Redemption Reserve. You're clear on this, children? Yet we will revise it a bit again. So let's look into this. A quick recap. Profits of the capital is a source, capital of the company is another source of finance, and profits and capital of the company is another source. Can you children beneath this write down in your notebooks which companies can redeem the debentures totally out of profits, which companies can redeem totally out of capital, and which can follow a combination of profits and capital? Done? Okay, I'm putting them up here. Unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs can redeem totally out of profits. All India financial institutions, banking companies, other financial institutions, all listed companies, and unlisted NBFCs and HFCs can redeem out of capital, and a combination of both profits and capital. Unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs, because only unlisted companies other than HBFCs can use their profits. Now let's come to the amounts. If it's only profits of the company, children, what is the amount of profits which are going to be transferred to DRR? 100% of the face value of the debentures. In cases capital, 100% to be reused from the capital. And in case the debentures are going to be redeemed by these unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs from their profits and capital, then they will transfer 10% of the total face value of the debentures from the profits into debenture redemption reserve account, redeeming the remaining 90% of the total face value out of capital. So this was the source of finance. Now look here, it's so very clear. DRR, Debenture Redemption Reserve, all India financial institutions, banking companies, other financial institutions, all listed companies, unlisted NBFCs and HFCs do not have to create a DRR. Unlisted companies other than NBFCs will create 10% of the language used is 10% of the outstanding debentures, which is the total face value of the debentures to be redeemed. They will transfer it to the Debenture Redemption Reserve account from their profits. All right. What is the benefit of this provision, children, to the investors? By investors, I mean the debenture holders. The debenture holders have invested money in the company. What is the benefit of creating this provision of DRR by the company? Creation of DRR ensures that a company sets aside a portion of its profits towards repayment of long-term debentures out of profits. When a company that has issued debentures goes bankrupt or faces a liquidity crunch, it usually defaults on its repayment to the lenders. In such cases, the existence of DRR reduces the investment risk for the buyer of debentures. They know, children, that a certain portion of the profits have been transferred to DRR, and the company also ensures, children, that the portion of profits which have been transferred to DRR, it does have cash equal to that amount. So when it was, in the first instance, when it was redeeming 100% from the profits, the company would have to ensure that it has got cash of 4 lakh with it, because in DRR, it has transferred the entire 4 lakh rupees. When it's redeeming out of profit and capital, 40,000 rupees would have been transferred from the profits to the Debenture Redemption Reserve. The company will at any point of time ensure that it has at least 40,000 cash with it equal to the amount of debentures to be redeemed. Though companies issue secured debentures, we know what secured debentures are, children. The assets of the companies are mortgaged to the debenture holders. A DRR can help them as well, as recovery of dues by liquidating assets can take a considerable amount of time. We know it takes a long time to sell the assets, get the money, and then redeem the debentures. So at least by creating a DRR, certain amount of money is available with the company, which it will use to repay the debenture. Now, the provisions of the Companies Act then finish with creating a Debenture Redemption Reserve. Further, another provision. As per the provisions of the Companies Act 2013, all listed companies, whether they are NBFCs or they are non-NBFCs, and unlisted companies, the ones which you've just done, who've got to create a DRR other than NBFCs and HFCs, are required to invest in unencumbered, in other words, free investments, at least 15% of the face value of the debentures to be redeemed during the year between 1st April and 30th April of the year in which the redemption is to be made. If I go back here, children, to the second type of company, unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs, the debenture holders of these unlisted companies have added protection. First, these unlisted companies have got to create a debenture redemption reserve, and then they have to invest by at least 15 investments equal to at least 15% of the face value of the debentures, not of the total value, children, of the face value of the debentures to be redeemed during that year. And the Companies Act has given us the dates as well to buy the investments. They said between 1st April and 30th April of the year in which the redemption is to be made. For example, if the debentures are to be redeemed on 31st of March 2020, then any date between 1st April 2019 and 30th April 2019, this company will have to invest or buy investments equal to at least 15% of the face value of the debentures, which is going to redeem on 31st of March 2020. A little bit of protection of this type has been given to the debenture holders of all listed companies. So the debenture holders of all listed companies have one protection, while the debenture holders of unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs have got two protections. Now, unencumbered free investments, common example, children, a company can deposit the required amount with any scheduled bank, and the name of this investment or the name of this asset will be debenture redemption investment. Unencumbered, absolutely free of any lien. No, it's not mortgaged to anyone. No creditor has any right to it. These totally belong to the company. This why is the Companies Act putting this provision? Well, put forward this provision that 15% of the face value of debentures to be redeemed have got to be invested in debenture redemption investment. It's because, children, on the date of investment, on the date of redemption, these investments will be sold in the market, the money recovered, which will aid in the redemption of debentures. So where unlisted companies are concerned, they've already blocked a part of their profits into the DRR, ensuring an equal amount of cash is available. And now there'll be further cash available to them when they sell these investments in the market on the date of redemption. Which companies have got to invest in debenture redemption investments or got to take a fixed deposit with the bank or buy any unencumbered securities issued by the central government or the state government? All India financial institutions regulated by RBI, banking companies, other financial institutions, unlisted NBFCs and HFCs do not have to invest money at all. No protection at all to the debenture holders of these four categories of companies. All listed companies and unlisted companies other than NBFCs will have to invest or deposit between 1st April and 30th April of the year in which the redemption is to be made, a sum which shall not be less than 15% of the amount of debentures maturing during the year. In a nutshell, children, that's it. That's about all you've got to remember. When you're redeeming the debentures of a banking company, there's no provision to be followed at all. All that you have to do is pass the entry for the amount due to the debenture holders and then pay off the debenture holders. Similarly, when you've got to redeem the debentures of an unlisted NBFC or an HFC, again, just two journal entries to be passed, that is, amount due to the debenture holders and the debenture holders being paid off. Where all listed companies are concerned, over and above these two entries, we also have to pass entries for purchase of the investments and their sale on the date of redemption. While where unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs are concerned, they will have to transfer a part of their profits to the DRR, amount due for redemption of debentures, pay off the debenture holders, and also we'll have to pass the entries for the purchase and sale of the debenture redemption investments. This was, children, the theoretical part. Let's now come to the entries to be passed, the accounting part. The first example, children, On 1st April 2016, an unlisted construction company means, that rings a bell. Unlisted construction company, all right. It will have to create a DRR. Issued 4,008% debentures of 100 each to be redeemed at par on 31st March 2020. This is redemption in a lump sum at the end of a specified period. The provisions of the Companies Act 2013 were followed and the debentures were redeemed on the due date. All right, we've got to create a DRR. First, let's find out, children, the amount of DRR to be created. I read the statement again. Nowhere has it been said that the debentures are going to be redeemed only out of profits. That means this unlisted construction company is going to redeem the debentures by using the combination of profit and capital. The company will transfer from its profits before redemption begins to DRR. Now note what I put here, before redemption begins. The date has not been given. The Companies Act has not given the date when the profits have got to be transferred to the DRR. But if you recollect, the date for the purchase of investments was there. It was between 1st April and 30th April of the year in which the debentures have got to be redeemed. Here, the Companies Act just says before redemption begins. To DRR, an amount equal to 10% of the total face value of the debentures to children. 10% of 4 lakh is 40,000. What's going to be the journal entry? We are going to appropriate the profits and transfer them to debenture redemption reserve account. As a result, the debenture redemption reserve account will be credited and I take the amount from my profits. No date there. No date given in the question. So what's going to be the date? All right, let's take the case into account. Let's take the 2 cases into account to see the dates. Case 1. On 1st April 2016, this company, same example what I gave you children before, on 31st March 2020. Now, the company had the time to create the DRR from the first financial year itself. The date of creation of DRR by a prudent company having the required amount of profits should have been 31st March 2017, or the company could have transferred to the DRR 40,000 rupees on 31st March 2018, or on 31st March 2019. No date has been given to me in the question. So, since the date of creation of DRR is not specified in the example, it can be assumed that the company did not make profits in the first 3 years of the life of the debentures. What does this mean, children? We can transfer to the DRR or we can create a DRR only when the company has made profits. If the company had made profits in any of these 3 years, then equal amount, 40,000 was available. It would have been given to us in the question itself. But the question doesn't say on which date the DRR was created. Hence, the Companies Act has given the term before redemption begins. So before the company passes the journal entry for redemption of debentures, that is debentures to debenture holders, it will block in the year of redemption itself 40,000 of its profits and transfer to DRR. So in 2020, children, 1920, less of profits will be available for distribution as dividend to the shareholders. No dividend would have been given to the shareholders in 2017, neither in 18 nor in 19, because the company didn't make any profits. So now when there were profits in the year 1920, the first thing which the company has to do is block the profits, transfer 40,000 into debenture redemption reserve, and the remaining profits can be given as dividend to the shareholders. So my date is going to be 31st of March 2020. Take another example, children. Here we are going to redeem the debentures in the middle of the financial year on 1st October 2020. What happens in this case? We had issued the debentures on 1st April 2018. The company could have transferred to DRR in the year 2018-19, that is on 31st March 2019, or 31st March 2020, 1920 itself. Debentures, children, in this situation in this example, are going to be redeemed in the financial year 2021. Again, the date of creation of DRR has not been specified in the example. It can be assumed that the company did not make profits in these 2 years. So now what happens? As the company is redeeming the debentures on 1st October 2020, its quarterly results of the current year means financial year 2020-21, from April to June 2020, then July to September 2020 would have shown profits made during the 6-month period. And so, children, before proposing, declaring, and paying interim dividend, the company will first have to transfer 40,000 rupees from these interim profits, from these profits made in this 6-month period, the actual profits made by the company during the 6-month period, from the profits to the debenture redemption reserve account, and then after that, the company can take a decision whether it wants to propose, declare, and pay its interim dividend or not. So let's do a quick recap of this. First situation, redeemed on 31st March 2020. The date of creation of DRR has not been given. So this entry, I put the date now, 31st March 2020. The second case, we're redeeming on 1st October 2020. Figures same, entry same, but the date changes. From the profits to the DRR, the company will transfer on 1st of October 2020 before redemption begins. The Companies Act is not binding us that we have to create our provision by this date. No, whenever we have profits, we will create the DRR, even if it happens to be on the date of redemption. Children, now let's come to DRI. On 1st April 2016, an unlisted construction company, all right, unlisted construction company, yes, it will have to buy the DRI, issued 4,008% debentures of 100 each to be redeemed at par on 31st March 2020. The entire 4 lakh worth of debentures are going to be redeemed on 31st March 2020. The provisions of the Companies Act as amount of DRI to be purchased between the dates have been given to us, children, between 1st April 2019 and 30th April 2019, 15% of the face value of the debentures to be redeemed on 31st March 2020, 15% of 4 lakh is 60,000. I'll give you 10 seconds, children, if you can think of the journal entry which the company will pass when it purchases these investments. It's like purchasing any other asset. We pass the entry. It's a simple entry which we do in class 11 itself. Yeah, I make debenture redemption investment account debit to bank account. The asset increases, investments increase, my bank balance reduces, and asset reduces. The amount is 60,000. The date of purchase of the DRI has not been given to us. The question is our choice here, children. Any date between 1st April 2019 and 30th April 2019. I can write whatever date I want to. The Companies Act provision says on or before 30th of April. If the date has been given to you in the question, you will put that date. Otherwise, the choice is yours, whether you want to put 1st of April or 30th. Now, we come to the date of redemption of debentures. Why were these investments purchased? To recover money from them by selling them on the date of redemption. The entire amount of DRI is then sold on the date of redemption of debentures. This act also eases the cash position of the company. The same example which I'm continuing, children. This company had purchased 60,000 worth of DRI on 1st of April. Now, can you all pass the entry for the sale of these investments? Quickly, put the date as well as pass the entry. What is the date, children? Yes, 31st March, date of redemption. We are selling it. It's just a reverse entry of what we purchased. Bank debit to debenture redemption investment. After we sell this, children, after we sell this, we now redeem the debentures. We'll pass the entries for the redemption of debentures. All right. Debentures redeemed. Debenture holders have got their money back. Can we continue, or can the company, children, continue to keep this 40,000 which it had blocked into DRR in the DRR account and for years continued to give less dividend to the shareholders? No, once the purpose of the DRR has been served by redeeming the debentures, the company then releases this 40,000 from the debenture redemption reserve and will transfer it to a free reserve, in other words, to general reserve. So after redeeming the debentures, the unlisted company, other than NBFC and HFC, obviously, because this was the only type of companies which are required to create a debenture redemption reserve, will transfer the entire balance in the DRR account with general reserve account, which is a free reserve. 40,000 has been created. Can you think of the entry? When we created the DRR, what did we do to DRR, children? We credited it. Now I'm closing the DRR account by transferring this amount to general reserve account. So what will I do to DRR account? Yes, you're right. I will debit it and I will transfer it to general reserve, which will be credited on the date of redemption itself. I don't need the debenture redemption reserve beyond the date of redemption of debentures. In a nutshell, children, the journal entries when debentures are redeemed by different classes of companies. Banking companies, unlisted NBFCs and HFCs. Quickly, children, can you write down, when I'm talking of these two categories, I also mean All India Financial Services and I also mean other financial companies listed under Section 272. Can you quickly pass the entries which the company, a banking company, for example, or an unlisted NBFC will pass on the date of redemption or pass for redemption? Only two entries. First is debenture to debenture holders account on the date of redemption, and then debenture holders to bank account on the date of redemption, because neither was it supposed to create a DRR, nor was it supposed to purchase any investments. So just two simple entries other than the issue entries, and you solve the question regarding issue and redemption of debentures by banking. Let's look into the entries passed by all listed companies. Will it have the same two entries for redemption as we did in case of banking companies, or will it have more? Give it a thought. Any provisions of the Companies Act applied here? Yes. All listed companies have to purchase or invest in debenture redemption investment. So they will purchase the investments, they will sell the investments, and then they'll redeem the debentures. So in this situation, two extra entries. They'll buy the investments, children, between 1st April and 30th April in the year of redemption. On the date of redemption, they will sell these investments. Ready? Got the money? Pass the entry for the amount due to the debenture holders and pay off the debenture holders. 4 entries for redemption to be passed by all listed companies. Let's go over to unlisted companies other than NBFC and HFC. How many entries will they pass? Children, apart from the 2 redemption entries, they've got to follow 2 provisions of the Companies Act. Number 1, creating a DRR, and number 2, purchasing the investments. So both the provisions are to be applied here, and 2 entries per provision. So let's start with the entries of unlisted companies. First of all, the DRR will be created 1st April to 30th April, year of redemption. The investments will be purchased. Children, these 2 entries could be interchanged. At times, if the DRR is being created on the date of redemption, then the entry to buy the investments will come before the entry to create the DRR. So these 2 entries could be, one succeeds the other precedes the other, depending upon the date which has been given to us in the question. Date of redemption, we will sell the investments. Amount due to the debenture holders, children. Next entry, come on quickly. Yes, debenture holders to bank. Are we done with the entries? I bought the DRI, I closed the DRI account. I issued the debentures, I've closed the debenture account. I'd opened the debenture holders account, I've closed the debenture holders account. One account remains. the debenture redemption reserve account. Its purpose has been solved. Its purpose has been served. The debentures have been redeemed. So what will the company do? Close the DRR account by transferring whatever balance is in it and put the amount in general reserve account. All right. Do we get this, children? Okay. Now, these are the 6 entries to be passed at the time of by unlisted companies. Children, another concept which we have to do in this chapter is interest from debenture redemption investment. The interest earned by the company on its debenture redemption investment may be subject to tax deduction at source. In case you've already done the chapter issue of debentures, there the company has to pay interest to the debenture holders and it deducts tax from the interest which is due to the debenture holders. In this situation, children, the company has earned interest on the investment which it has made. So for example, if the company has taken a fixed deposit with a bank, the bankers, when it will give interest to the company, will deduct interest on this investment and give the net amount of interest to the company on the interest which it has earned on its fixed deposit. If a company has made its DRI in a fixed deposit with a bank, then the source of earning interest on this fixed deposit by the company is the bank. The bank will deduct the interest tax on this interest, and the company will receive the net interest from the bank. The tax so deducted by the bank will be deposited by it on behalf of the company to the government. I didn't get that amount which the company has, which the bank has deducted. The company should have got that amount. So this is an amount basically, children, which the bank owes to the company. Therefore, it's considered as an asset of the company as it is part of the interest income not received from the bank. So the interest earned by the company, tax will have to be paid by the company, but the bankers are doing the service. They are deducting the tax on behalf of the company and giving the net interest to the company. Let's do the journal entries. Journal entry for interest on debenture redemption investment without tax deducted source. So bank account debit to interest on debenture redemption investment. We earn the interest. Interest is an income. We credit the income. Can you think of the journal entry, children, for interest on redemption with TDS? The interest, think about it, children. I explained to you about the TDS. There. The interest amount is the same as what we passed in the previous case, but the net amount which we will get from the bank in the form of interest will be less, as part of it will be deducted as tax. We are debiting it. It's an asset for the company. That part of the interest which the bankers have not paid to us. All right, children. Please don't forget to close the interest on DRI account at the end of the year. We've done it in class 11 and we reiterate in class 12. All expenses and all incomes accounts have got to be closed at the end of the year. So the interest on DRI account, do statement in P&L. We've often found children not passing this entry. Children, you tend to lose marks. Be very careful. All expenses, all incomes account to be closed at the end of the year. Now, this is a little recap, children, of what you've already done in your issue of shares chapter or in your issue of debentures chapter, because we will be needing this concept tomorrow, in tomorrow's session, when we are going to solve problems on redemption of debentures. Year of writing of discount or loss on issue of debentures. In issue of shares, you would have done writing of share issue expenses, writing of underwriting commission. So I'm specifically here speaking of writing of discount or loss on issue of debentures. This loss, children, is written off in the year in which the debentures are issued, if nothing specified in the question regarding the period of its writing off, or over the lifetime of the debentures if the period of writing off is specified in the question. In your syllabus, we have only the first option, that is to write off the loss in the year in which the loss occurs. In the year in which the debentures are issued, we are not going to think of, we're not going to discuss writing off this loss over the lifetime of the debentures, since this is not in your syllabus. Children, I give you 5 seconds to write down the profits from which these losses will be written off and the order in which these profits are to be used. The first one, security premium reserve if the company has a balance. Why should a company write off the discount or loss first from security premium reserve in case it has a balance? Because under section 52 subsection 2 of the Companies Act, the using of security premium reserve is for limited purposes. We can't use it for any other purpose other than writing off a few specific losses. Next, from capital reserve, if the company has a balance in its capital reserve. Then from general reserve, if specified in the question as general reserve is created from the revenue profits. And then lastly from statement of P&L. Lastly from its statement of P&L. Okay. Now, what is, children, we come to our assignments. I've given you 3 questions here. You think of these answers. Tomorrow we'll discuss the answers of this. What is the maximum limit of debentures which unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs can redeem out of capital? You can note down this question, or you can refer back to the presentation and you can write down the question. List the companies which are exempted from creating a debenture redemption reserve. Mention the sources of finance for redemption of debentures. 3 questions, children. Write down the answers. Tomorrow we shall discuss them. If you've not noted down the questions, you can refer back to the presentation and your questions. So with this, children, I finish with today's presentation and I am ready to take the questions. But before that, I would like to tell you tomorrow, be ready with your notebook, your pen and your calculators, because tomorrow we are going to solve these sums. Each sum, there are quite a number of sums, children, and we're going to solve them in our 1-hour session tomorrow. So be ready with your pens, pencil, your notebook, pencils, and your calculators. Over to the questions which you may have for me. Okay, the first question has just been put up. Can an unlisted company, the non-NBFC and HFC, create DRR in case of losses? No, children, as I just said, they can't. There has to be a profit. Only in case of profits, you can't create a reserve in case you have a loss. So only in the year in which a company makes profits can it create a DRR. The second question, how will an unlisted company, non-NBFC and HFC, redeem its debentures in case of losses? A good question. Now it's making losses even in the year on the date of redemption also. Till the date of redemption also there are no profits. What happens then? The company has got 2 options then, children. Either it can ask its debenture holders to defer the repayment of the debt, or it will then have to start the process of liquidating its assets, selling its assets, and the company will go into liquidation. Can an unlisted company, non-NBFC and HFC, which will be redeeming the debentures from its profit and capital, transfer an amount other than 10% of its surplus to DRR? Yes, children, why not? The minimum amount is 10%, the maximum is 100%. In case the company wants to transfer more than 10%, there's nothing to stop it. But the least amount is 10%, and the maximum we know is right up to the 100% of the face value of the debentures. Can unlisted companies other than NBFCs and HFCs and listed companies invest an amount other than 15% of the face value of debentures to be redeemed in DRI? Yes, children. the companies access minimum of 15% of the face value of debentures to be redeemed in that year to be invested. If the companies want to invest a larger amount, they want to have more safety and surety that cash will be available, there's nothing to stop them to buy investments of more than 15%, but the minimum amount has got to be 15% of the face value of the debentures. If the date of purchase of DRI has not been given in a question, which date should be considered? Children, the Companies Act has said between 1st April and 30th April of the year in which the debentures have got to be redeemed. So if you're redeeming the debentures on 31st March 2020, the question doesn't say the date of purchase of DRI. As I mentioned earlier in my presentation, you can put the date 1st April, 2nd April, 3rd April, any date up to 30th of April. How is DRR disclosed in the balance sheet of a company? Children, it is shown under equity and liabilities, shareholders' funds, reserves and surplus. It's a part of the reserves and surplus. All right, the last question, children. Are there any specific securities for DRI, or can the company purchase any asset to record it as DRI? No, children. The company cannot buy any asset and record it as DRI. Only if it takes a fixed deposit with a scheduled bank, approved securities of central government and the state government, or any securities as mentioned in the trust in section 20 of the Indian Trust Act. It cannot at random buy a car, a house or something and say, well, this is my debenture redemption investment. No. Scheduled only in the fixed deposit of a scheduled bank, approved securities of central and state government, and in unencumbered securities mentioned in section 20 of the Indian Trust Act of 1982. So children, hopefully you've got you've understood the provisions of the process in the redemption of debentures. And tomorrow we're going to do sums based on this. So my advice would be you can just revise these, watch the video again and revise the provisions. And tomorrow we will be solving questions. Thank you, students. Thanks to everyone who has logged in. God bless.